I have the right, as a human being, to a simple answer. Are you claiming I did not approach the German embassy for help, under the laws posted on the gate, and was refused help? And accused of lying? And refused even any document to state I had approached the German embassy, for the police, and local authorities, who had directed me to approach the German embassy, and ask for such proof I had followed their directions. And then refused to make one local phone call that would have taken 60 seconds, to confirm I had approached the German embassy for help. I am not going to let this go. You are going to have to answer these questions one way or another. Privately or publicly. It is inhuman of you to completely ignore my pleas to be treated as a human being, with the minimum of respect and dignity. Obadiah warned, in the Bible, that as you do unto others, so shall be done unto you. Others call it karma. I will ensure the people involved, which now includes you, will be held accountable for your actions. You cannot pretend you are not committing an act of violence against me, by refusing to acknowledge my complaint, and address it. To simply answer the questions given. You are paid to do a job. Some people failed to do the job they were paid for. Then failed to address their failure. Now you are acting as if nothing happened. Something did happen. And surely you have heard of the law of equal and opposite reactions. There cannot be any action without there being a reaction. You are guilty of acts of violence against me. You are committing an act of violence now, if you fail to respond appropriately to my questions. I hoped to avoid a formal complaint. You forced me to make a formal complaint. Now you are failing to process my formal complaint. All these things are acts of violence. You are acting as role models for a violent world. You are promoting violence. It beggars belief that you can be so violent, given you are so fortunate as to have been born in a relatively peaceful Germany, under conditions of relative affluence. Your life has been so easy, and violence-free. You have no excuse for your behavior. You must be held accountable. Or you will go on committing acts of violence, imagining you are free from accountability. If you think I am being melodramatic, you are simply in denial of the impact of your actions. Your acts of violence. You could take responsibility, and treat me as you would like to be treated, and how you would like your loved ones to be treated, and resolve this situation quickly. Otherwise you are continuing to be a role model for interpersonal violence, which shall inform other individuals as to how to behave. And it will inform those with power over you, on how they should treat you, including other state actors, and the state itself, and those who pull the strings behind the scenes. You will be inviting them to do their worst. For you have offered them the role model of your own violence. You have said people should treat each other without respect or dignity, and employ violence when they feel like doing so, and ignore any pleas for justice from anyone who is the victim of their violence. Which will, in that event, be you, and your loved ones. I could do what others do, and deny my personal responsibility to address this matter. That would be much easier. Any attempt at communication is risky business. Dangerous. People abuse their power in such situations. To not just deny reality, but to spin and frame the situation, to attack the innocent victim further. The world will always be, no matter how many lives you live, or how long you live each of them, the representation of your own will. Our collective wills. There will be no escape. What I ask is so easy to do. I did not want anyone punished for their actions. I wanted them to take personal responsibility for them. To show signs they had learned something, and in future would behave differently. I have seen no evidence of anyone taking responsibility, and learning anything. There is no point having humans do your job, if you are going to behave like badly programmed machines without any humanity. This is an attempt to reprogram you. Yes, you will probably never be held accountable. But remember, that means those who commit acts of violence upon you and your loved ones, who happen to be in a similar situation as yourself, namely unaccountable employees of the state, will also be free to do their worst to you and your loved ones. If you had any idea of the reality of the situation, that would be more meaningful to you. I am literally not at liberty to educate you on such matters. But you of course are all in favor of violence, of injustice, of smug complacent arrogance, of deception, of lies, of censorship, of denying people services and justice, and of abusing power to silence anyone who has a legitimate criticism of your behavior and attitude. So you are clearly in favor of the things I am not at liberty to describe for you. So all I can say is, enjoy reaping the harvest you have sown, and continue to sow. Enjoy the fruits of your own actions, and willing. You are deaf to my pleas. Perhaps you must learn the hard way, like I assume I must have. By suffering the consequences of your actions. By having others look to your own actions as role models for theirs. Including people with power over you. They should exercise it, in the same way you have exercised your power over me. I take no pleasure in understanding all this. I appeal to you as a human individual. But also as a philosopher. Your violence harmed me. But it is not necessary or even desirable for me to return the favor. I can only despair of any reform to this world. And only hope to never have to return to it, in future lives. And I will know I did what I could do, while I was here. And feel I have met any responsibility I may have had, by using the only power I had, that of reason, and the courage to attempt communication with hostile interlocutors who will likely abuse my attempt to enlighten them to further victimize me, rather than learn anything from the interaction. I can wash my hands of this world. And leave you all to your fate. In the sense I have outlined here, in relation to your acts of violence, you deserve the violence that has been, and is being, committed against you by people just like you. Employees of the state. Violence that we can only expect to get worse. State violence. Committed by employees of the state. Like you. None of us is innocent. But some of us are addressing our guilt. And changing our behaviors. Becoming role models for what we really would like others to be. Trying to treat others as we would like them to treat us, and our loved ones. The world is, and always will be, no matter where we are, and what we are, the expression of our will. I have explained in detail in my many books and videos exactly what I mean. I do offer you this opportunity to do the right thing. To alter your course. To learn and grow. I do not wish anyone to be punished. None of us would sanely demand justice, as we are all guilty of horrific crimes against other earthlings, mostly animals. So I have no interest in having anyone punished for their actions. Any more than I wish to be punished for the crimes committed in my name against all the earthlings who suffered and died, before I adopted a vegan lifestyle. I just demand you, on a person-to-person level, admit what happened. And demonstrate you will behave better in future. And to respond to clients in a way that respects them, and demonstrates the desire to provide the best service you can, including providing feedback to those people responsible for publishing web pages and processing documents. The more effective the communication of the requirements, and the more efficiently documents are processed, the better a role model you are for everyone else you depend on to provide service to you. I have been seeking a response to these problems for over a month now, and received none. Is that how you want others to treat you and your loved ones? To simply ignore them? Treat them as if they had no rights? Is that sort of arrogance what you want to model for those with power over you? Who can decide to treat you well, or play games with you, for their own malicious satisfaction? Really? Marcus Heinrich Reback.